Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Indie Pop Girl, the podcast for music chat, new releases, hidden gems, and nostalgic deep dives. It's time to bring you another brand new release review. For this week, I'll be discussing Middle of Nowhere, the latest project from country superstar Kacey Musgraves. And before we get into the episode, if you enjoy music discussions like this, please consider following the podcast or leaving a like, depending on where you're listening. It really helps the show reach more people, and it means a lot for a small independent podcast like this one. Middle of Nowhere is the sixth studio album by American singer-songwriter Kacey Musgraves. It was released on the 1st of May 2026 through Lost Highway Records. It is the follow-up to her previous release, Deeper Well, which was released in 2024. Kacey co-produced the album with Daniel Tashan and Ian Fitchuk, who have been her regular collaborators since her Grammy Award-winning record, Golden Hour from 2018. There is also some additional production and engineering from Luke Laird. Some media outlets are calling the record Kacey's seventh project, which includes her Christmas release. But I have gone with what is stated on the vinyl hype sticker, so I just wanted to clarify before continuing to avoid any confusion. According to the press release, Middle of Nowhere was written during a period of reflection and post-breakup clarity. Sonically, the project sees Kacey return to her Texas roots, and it features heavy use of the pedal steel in the instrumentation. It also blends traditional and contemporary country elements, and critics have described the record as a return to form, following on from the more pop-leaning experimentation of Star-Crossed and the folk pop of Deeper Well. You might be a little bit surprised that I'm covering Kacey on the podcast. I became a fan during the pandemic when I discovered her Golden Hour record. I have to give credit again to one of my favourite YouTubers, Mike the Snare. It was through binge watching his videos that I stumbled across Golden Hour in his top 10 albums of the 2010s and top 10 albums of 2018 videos. I have discovered so much music and been exposed to brand new artists through his channel. I really trust and respect his opinion, and his description of Golden Hour really intrigued me. The genre of country is something that I am not really drawn to, but there is something captivating about Kacey's sound and vocals. I went in and experienced Golden Hour with a completely open mind. And spoiler alert, this is a record that I will definitely be covering at some point, so I don't want to go into detail here. All I'm going to say is that I fell in love with Kacey's sound and soothing vocals, and she's been in regular rotation ever since. Even her Star-Crossed project, which received a mixed reaction, I have found a new appreciation for. Kacey is one of my comfort artists. She has a rare ability to bridge two distinct worlds, making her music the ultimate sanctuary for any mood. On one hand, her cosmic country era, defined by the lush, psychedelic warmth of Golden Hour, creates a dreamy atmosphere that feels like a literal sunset for the soul. On the other, her more recent work in Deeper Well leans into grounded acoustic storytelling, offering a sense of quiet clarity and organic simplicity. By balancing these ethereal, floaty melodies with raw, plain-spoken honesty, she creates a space that feels both magical and deeply human. And whenever there is a new Kacey project on the horizon, I always feel excited to hear new songs from her. Covering this new release was a no-brainer for me, and I am so happy that I have finally have the opportunity to talk about Kacey on my podcast. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, I will not be playing clips of the songs, so if you are curious, then please support the artists I cover by streaming, downloading, or buying physical copies. Thank you. Track 1, Middle of Nowhere. This opens up the record in a gentle manner, backed with drums, acoustic guitar, and pedal steel. Kacey, as usual, is soothing with her relaxed tone, and it's all complemented perfectly. I love how the chorus switches to a waltz beat. It's slightly unexpected, but it really gives the song a slight lift as it is quite stripped back. I think we can all relate to the message of this song. Kacey wants to find her own peace, and being in the middle of nowhere is the place where she can find that solitude. I love the writing in verse 2. Kacey sings, "No service on the phone and I'm alone, but honestly feels good. And if you tried to call, I wouldn't call you back, even if I could." There is something really liberating about that. It seems like Kacey's partner, or I'm interpreting that it's her ex trying to contact Kacey on the phone, but she's not having it at all. Kacey is comfortable in her own company. She doesn't need anyone else or the chaos happening on her phone. Messages, phone calls, social media, the list goes on. We all need that space and the permission to switch off. And as Kacey beautifully describes in the last line of the song, it's just me, and that's all I need. It's the little things in life, the simplicity, and that's why I connect to Kacey's writing so much. I also think that the title track is connected to track 7, Loneliest Girl, as Kacey continues with the themes of finding peace and solitude, and that there's nothing wrong in choosing to find solace by yourself. Track 2, Dry Spell. This track brings the cheeky humour from Kacey's earlier work, and I feel that this is where she delivers some of her best songwriting. Kacey explained that she wrote this song after a breakup, and it was the longest period in her adult life that she'd been on her own. Kacey just goes for it and says it like it is, and that kind of honesty is really refreshing. Kacey opens up the song by saying, "It's been a real long 335 days, and the last time, it wasn't good anyway." I love how exact Kacey is with her singledom, but she also twists the knife in with her ex by saying that the last time she had sex wasn't that good anyway. The dry spell is obviously talking about Kacey's lack of intimacy, but she confirms that she is lonely with a capital H. And this reminds me of Sabrina Carpenter's songwriting. In Juno, Sabrina tells the listener that she is so fucking horny, and I feel that Kacey is in that lane here with Dry Spell. Kacey is obviously comfortable being on her own, but after a while, the lack of sex and intimacy is making her feel frustrated. The first time I heard this song, it did make me laugh out loud. The "I've been sitting on the washing machine" line in particular. It seems that poor Kacey is so horny that she is using the spinning washing machine to shake off any sexual frustration. Again, it made me think of Sabrina and how cheeky she is with her lyrics. The chorus is full of double entendres, and I'm here for it. Kacey references Shania Twain in the Ain't Nobody's Boots Under My Bed line, which could be a subtle nod to Shania's hit song, Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under? And with the I'm tired of keeping my hands to myself line, I immediately thought of Hands to Myself by Selena Gomez, which is an absolute pop banger, by the way. I love how Kacey addresses her listeners within the song, with ending the chorus by saying, Y'all, I'm going through a dry spell. With how honest Kacey is in the song, it feels like she's having a frank conversation with her girlfriends or her fans. It's such clever songwriting, but with so much humour and fun into the song. The switch up in the lyrics with the final chorus is so smart. Kacey sings, Ain't nobody to roll within the hay, and nobody but the chickens are getting laid. I mean, that is just so brilliant and hilarious at the same time. Kacey packs in so much detail into Dry Spell, and honestly, I could go on. Track 3, Back on the Wagon. Despite the straightforward country arrangements, there are some pretty dark lyrical themes running through it. My interpretation to the track is that Kacey is not describing a casual ex-partner. I think she is hinting to her ex-husband Rustin Kelly. Kacey hasn't confirmed explicitly who the song is about, but there are some clues scattered that make it obvious that the song is about Rustin. Fans and critics have noted that substance use was a visible element of their relationship, and following their divorce, Kelly has been vocal about his journey with sobriety. Kacey opens up the song with, He was out of his mind on the 4th of July, and fans have pointed out that this is the same month that the couple filed for divorce in 2020. There is some sadness present in this song, as we now know the outcome. Kacey still loves and believes in him, despite his troubles and faults. She admits in the chorus that he caused so much pain, but this time he's changed. But will he? In the chorus, Kacey seems that she is standing by her man, and rightly so. She is the one who is trying to make the marriage work, believing in her husband that he is going to change for good. It's interesting in the you say he'll fuck it up, but we're so in love, that ain't gonna happen. This could mean she is directing this line to her fans who maybe express concern, the critics and press who maybe have been speculating things. Or it could be directed to her friends and family who maybe think that Kacey should end the marriage. It's interesting that Kacey has included a track like this on this project, as Starcross was her divorce album, but she didn't really dig that deep into the problems that consumed her marriage. I would say that this track is more explicit and it fits into the country storytelling roots with a more nuanced look at Kacey's past. There is definitely some genre alignment with the traditional pedal steel and a Tammy Wynette inspired vocal. It's one of my instant highlights from the record. Track 4, I Believe in Ghosts. Okay, so the first time I heard the intro to this song, I immediately thought of Where Have All the Cowboys Gone by Paula Cole. The way the acoustic guitar and drums come in takes me back to that song, which was released back in 1996 and became a huge hit in the following year. This track, I would say, is quite pop leaning with some country elements. It's another highlight for me for sure. The chorus is catchy and it's got some great production. Again, it's got some melancholic vibes threaded through the song, and it follows on from the sadness in the previous track perfectly. It's a breakup song, and the ghosts represent the lingering, unfinished energy of a partner who vanished without a real goodbye. The track is mellow, and Kacey uses a lower register with her vocals, but she is crystal clear in the production. She calls out her ex-partner later on in the song with the lines, "I had to call you to see what was all true, 'cause you didn't even have the balls to tell me goodbye and look me in the eye." Like I said, it's one of my highlights from the record and one of my favourite tracks, which was a standout upon first listen. Track 5, Abilene. Abilene is a standout track that serves as a bittersweet ode to outgrowing a place that no longer fits who you've become. Musically, it leans heavily into a vintage Western inspired sound, featuring a prominent acoustic guitar and a lonely atmospheric pedal steel that evokes the wide open landscape of West Texas. Lyrically, it tells a story of a woman who escapes her hometown and partner and leaves Abilene. We actually don't know why, as Kacey tells right at the start with the line, "It's kinda hard to say what the trigger really was." But that adds to the mystery of the song and makes the listener to make up their own interpretation of the narrative. This portion of the record is quite downbeat, reflective, and introspective, but it never suffers from it being bland or that the production is lacking. I was a little bit underwhelmed on my very first listen on Spotify. I was struggling with some of the tracks, but the real strength came through when I received the vinyl and playing the album as a whole experience. I am glad that I stayed patient before giving you my review because opinions can change when you are experiencing a new project for the first time. Track 6, Coyote. This track is a pretty special one. It features a co-writing credit from Rick Knowles and South African musician Gregory Alan Isakov provides backing vocals. It's one of my favourite tracks from the record. Kacey uses the metaphor of a coyote to describe a past relationship, and it's absolutely stunning. Again, there is some melancholy running throughout Coyote. Kacey's vocal performance is understated, but she manages to pack in so much longing and emotion in the way that she delivers the lines. There is also some lovely writing on display. The imagery is so poetic. To take the image of a coyote that is elusive and a wild animal and to use that to describe a former lover is something that you wouldn't expect, but the end result is so haunting. I think Isakov's subtle backing vocals represent the coyote and Kacey's former lover. His voice feels like a lingering memory, which adds to the song's haunting atmosphere. After listening to this on repeated listens now, my interpretation is that the former lover and the coyote are the same entity in the song. Isakov's vocals represent the untamable spirit of the lover, reinforcing that he was never truly hers to keep, but rather a wild thing that briefly crossed her path before vanishing back into the dark. And one of my favourite producers, Sean Everett, plays harmonica on the track. It can't get any better than that. Track 7, Loneliest Girl. There is definitely some thematic DNA from the title track, Middle of Nowhere, that runs through Loneliest Girl. I think this track acts as a thematic sequel and a direct emotional response to track 1. It's clever that this is placed in the halfway point in the record, as it feels like the record is a journey. It doesn't feel like just some random songs in a track list, but there is a purpose where they are and fit into Kacey's narrative of finding peace and solitude. It also feels like there is a spiritual connection to Lonely Weekend from Golden Hour, and even the introspective tracks from Deeper Well. There is some peaceful acceptance by Kacey, and she even brings back some tongue in cheek humour that was displayed in Dry Spell. She is owning her space and independence. Kacey sings, "No awkward conversations that I don't want to have." That is so relatable. I think a lot of us can connect to that situation. Kacey is like, "I don't have to navigate nobody's drama. I don't have to act like I like all your friends or your mama." Oh my God. I think we have all been there before. It's so fucking exhausting putting on a performance like that for other people. And does it make you happy? Hell no. It sucks all of the energy out of you. Kacey is focusing on herself, her own peace of mind, and that is something that I really admire. I got to a point where certain people were having a negative impact in my life. People who were using me and making me miserable. So I cut them out. Friends, family members, ex work colleagues. I realised that to protect my own happiness and solitude, I had to let go of all the people who don't care about me. I love my husband. He is my best friend in the entire world. But I am also comfortable in my own company and doing my own thing. Sometimes I feel like the loneliest girl in the world, just like what Kacey is describing. And yes, sometimes it does get a bit hard, and you wish that you were surrounded by endless friends who want to genuinely spend time with you. And there are times when you feel like you have nobody. Kacey speaks for all of us. I think that is why I connect with her so much. She is so down to earth and so relatable, and she will always be one of my comfort artists that brings me so much joy. If you're listening right now and enjoying this is your cue to hit like before you forget. I really do appreciate all of the support. Thank you. Track 8, Everybody Wants to Be a Cowboy. This track features musician Billy Strings, and this track really didn't grab me on the first listen, but since getting the copy of the vinyl, it started to grow on me now. It might not be as immediate as some of the other tracks, but it will click, especially in the context with the rest of the tracks. Some tracks take a while to grow on you, and that's okay. The production and arrangement is really pretty, and Billy's guitar work in the instrumental break is really impressive. It's got that traditional country blend with some bluegrass, which is Billy's main genre. To be absolutely honest, I don't have a lot to say about this one. It's a solid album track, and I really enjoy Kacey's vocal performance, and the lyrics are nice. But I feel that the other tracks have a slight edge over this one. I may feel a little different about it towards the end of the year when I start to compile my end of year lists, and I've given this album more repeated listens. Track 9, Horses and Divorces. This duet with Miranda Lambert puts any differences the two artists had with each other to bed. And it definitely gives the record a switch up by introducing a duet backed with accordion. But I will be honest, this is not my cup of tea at all. I am sorry. I have given this track a few listens now, and I am just not vibing with it at all. I can't force it, and it's impossible to be positive and like everything. However, I will always be respectful and constructive. Traditional country is a genre that I am just not drawn to, but I appreciate that Miranda is a legend in the country world, and I'm glad that they were able to clean the slate with each other and have some fun. What I will say is that the track provides a bit of light relief in the record. Most of the tracks are quite subdued and understated. Even though it's not my vibe, I can still appreciate the lyrics and production playing the album through on vinyl. So, it is not a complete skip. Track 10, Uncertain Texas. This track features backing vocals from Willie Nelson, who Kacey's collaborated with before, and it's lovely to hear their voices blending together. This track features the accordion backed with acoustic and electric guitar. That cowbell is quite high in the mix, I think, but Kacey never sounds drowned out by it. The production is quite lovely, and listening to this on headphones, you can really hear all of the elements and they are all balanced out perfectly. Uncertain Texas is a real tiny waterfront community located on the shores of Caddo Lake in the northeast Texas, right near the Louisiana border. I read that local history says the town earned its name because early steamboat captains found its water currents uncertain to safely moor their boats. Another legend states that residents listed uncertain on their official application paperwork because they hadn't agreed on a permanent town name yet. It's clever as Kacey sings that the place I currently live at is barely even on the map and calls it the great state of confusion. She also plays on the indecisive romance of this partner she is describing, saying, "Did you ever love me, baby? I thought you did from time to time. Down here in uncertain Texas, nobody ever makes up their mind." It's another one of my favourites from the record, and more artists should use the cowbell. It's so underrated. Track 11, Rhinestoned. This is another one of my favourites. I loved it immediately. I love the warm, soothing sound and the relaxed approach Kacey takes in this track. It also reminds me of Faye Webster, in particular her Atlanta Millionaires Club record from 2019. Faye Webster is famous for taking a country instrument like the pedal steel and dropping it into indie R&B music to make it sound lonely and lush. In Rhinestoned, Kacey reverses this trick by taking a country song and giving it that exact same lazy, hazy, indie R&B groove. Kacey's vocals are absolutely beautiful. Her voice cuts through the dreamy production and instrumental. The title of the song is a clever, intentional pun that combines traditional country music aesthetics with getting high. There is a dual meaning as the term plays on the choice between an artificial jewel, the iconic, flashy, faux diamond material famously worn by country legends, or it could mean smoking a little weed. Both serve as a coping mechanism to put a little sparkle on until the heartache and the sadness is gone. In Kacey's previous record, Deeper Well from 2024, she sang about quitting her daily gravity bong habit in the title track and getting rid of the bad habits that wasn't serving a purpose. But here, Kacey is more relaxed. It's like the song is a weed positive message for her to get through her heartbreak and just to take a moment for herself. The hazy, relaxed instrumental serves as a sonic metaphor for Kacey's lyrics. And it sounds like Kacey's vocals have a bit of reverb if you listen on headphones, which just adds to the dreaminess. I know Kacey has experimented with pop, but can you imagine if she ever delivered a dream pop project with hints of psychedelia? A combination of this track with Slow Burn, Oh What a World and Sway. That would blow my mind. Track 12, Mexico Honey. To have a 3-track run towards the end of a record like this is really impressive. Kacey delivers one of her career best tracks in Mexico Honey. She widens her musical sonic palette, and the song blends regional Mexican sounds and mariachi influences with classic Texas country music. Mexico Honey is a love song, but Kacey puts a flirty spin on the lyrics. It's quite playful, flirty, and it's a bit of fun. Kacey is done with sitting on the spinning washing machine, and she is craving an intense physical connection with this person. Kacey is in a bad girl good mood, wearing her gold hoops, and she's getting drunk with this person, listening to Daft Punk. In the bridge, she sings, "Baby, let me be your queen, be the tiger in your sheets." The song weaves in genuine intimacy, but it never comes across as cringe. It's perfectly balanced with the beautiful instrumental and her vocal performance. I've seen a lot of praise online with this track. A lot of people have called this their favourite, and I completely agree. It's got that laid back, carefree vibe about it, and this track will be in regular rotation in the summer months. Track 13, Hell on Me. Hell on Me closes out the record in a way that surprised me. It's a stripped back acoustic guitar ballad with some self-reflection and introspection. I am not completely certain, but after listening to the track a few times and reading through the lyrics, I think this song is about her ex-husband, Rustin Kelly. Kacey sings in the chorus, "I tried to be your angel, but you made it hell on me." I think this line is a callback to Angel from Starcrossed. Both songs are drenched in sorrow, maybe some regret. I think this is Kacey just pouring out her emotions one last time, and the only way she can fully move on is to address the hurt and pain that she experienced. She even acknowledges in verse 2, "I know I'm probably going to run right into you someday. I know I won't know how to act or what I'm going to say." It's like Kacey is playing out this scenario in her head already, like a premonition that it is going to happen. I wasn't expecting the record to close out in this fashion, but like I said earlier, a lot of this project is quite sad and downbeat in places. Yes, there are some fun, upbeat moments, but on the most part, this is Kacey dealing and processing a lot of fucked up relationship shit from her past. It will be interesting how Kacey follows this up in the direction she decides to go down in the future. Of course, that will be quite a long wait away, but for now, we have Middle of Nowhere, and I am happy to say that it's another strong effort in her already impressive discography. What I've always admired about Kacey Musgraves is her ability to create records that feel welcoming, even if you don't usually gravitate towards country music. She's one of those artists with genuine crossover appeal because her music has never been confined to one sound or audience. Across her career, she's blended country, folk, soft rock, dream pop, disco, and singer-songwriter influences in a way that feels completely natural rather than forced. In Middle of Nowhere continues that beautifully. It's a record that values atmosphere and emotion just as much as hooks, and I think that's part of why so many listeners outside of the country world connect with her work. The critical response so far has also been incredibly strong, and it's easy to understand why. There is a confidence and maturity to this album that makes it feel like another important step forward in her catalogue, while still keeping the warmth and honesty that people love her for. Even this early into the year, Middle of Nowhere already feels like a genuine Album of the Year contender. Of course, there's still a long way to go and plenty of major releases still to come, but this absolutely feels like one of those records that could stick around in the conversation for months. And honestly, whether you're already a long-time fan of Kacey or someone who normally sits outside of country music completely, I think this is an album worth spending time with. It's thoughtful, beautifully produced, emotionally rich, and another reminder of why she's become one of my favourite artists working today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you've enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you could follow, like or share, as it helps other music lovers discover my podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to the Indie Pop Girl podcast. It really helps the algorithm push the video out to more people, and as a small independent podcast that's still growing, every like and subscription genuinely makes a huge difference. I'm posting full episodes, shorts and little teasers over there, so there's always something new to watch. Let me know in the comments if you love this record and if you are a fan of Kacey. I always read and respond to comments, and I love hearing what you all think. You can also find me on Instagram and Threads at The Indie Pop Girl, and on TikTok at The Indie Pop Girl Podcast. And if you want to dive even deeper, there's a public Spotify playlist called Favourite Tracks from Podcast Episodes, where I add some of my top picks from each record I cover. It's updated as new episodes drop, so you might just find your next obsession. I'm going to be taking a short break as it's my birthday at the end of the month, but I have lots of episodes available in the meantime if you need to catch up. I'll still be posting on my socials, and stay tuned because I'll be teasing my next series shortly. Also, my podcast will be celebrating its first birthday very soon. Where has the time gone? Until then, I'm Rachel, the Indie Pop Girl. Thanks for listening, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.